Hey folks, LA Little here, and today I'm going to look at just three things. I'm going to look at Nvidia, I'm going to look at the SOXX, and I'm going to look at the XLK. And the reason I'm doing this is Nvidia has an earning coming out Wednesday after the market closes. It's going to be a telltale reaction that everybody needs to focus on because it's going to have a huge impact on the SOXX and on the XLK. And those two is where we're going to start. But before I get on those, let me tell you, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you hitting the subscribe, like button. If you enjoy what you see, helps me help you. So please take a minute, drop a comment, tell me what you want to look at. You know, I'm trying to do things that people are interested in, as well as those things that I'm interested in. So let's, without further ado, let's go in here and see why the Nvidia report is going to be so critical. Okay, I'm going to pull up the weekly chart because the weekly chart tells the big story. If you look here, this is 2 bars into a swing point low on a weekly. In other words, if we go 6 bars, you're going to get a swing point low here. You already have one here. You got another one right there. And if you look at that, they're all three in the same general area, right? They're not too far apart. That's a very serious situation. In other words, if I come bursting through here to the downside, I'm going to get some momentum. You can bet your bottom dollar there's a lot of stops sitting down here in this area. And if it prices, you know, fall through this, it's going to get an escalation to the downside. And if you go over and look at the SOXX, which is all your chips, you got exactly the same situation there, right? You've got a swing point low here potentially. Even if this one doesn't print before it comes back, you've got 2 other ones on both of them. This one actually has another one down here as well. Now there is a silver lining in that you've got a swing point high here and another one there, and they haven't been tested. At least this one hasn't been tested since the breakout. Well, I take that back. It actually has. So this one is not as strong. I believe the XLK is the one I was looking at. It actually has a stronger setup when you look at the swing point high because it hasn't been tested. This breakout here. So let's get the numbers and make sure. 177.38, 177. Yeah, so that one was not tested, and this one is top is 181.46, and that one was tested. So you're going to have really strong support, or at least you should expect strong support in this area here, and that goes all the way across. So even if you break these and you get an escalation to the downside, and especially if that one prints, you know, when it gets to here, it really should find some buyers. And if you get a straight down move into there, you can bet it's going to find some buyers. If you get something that meanders and works its way and then boom, heads down, it might just blow that away too, even though the odds are pretty good that it should bounce from there. So that's the setup. That's why it's so important with these Nvidia earnings. So let's look at Nvidia and let's see what it looks like. So if you remember, we had a nice big spill, did a retest, regen, reset the trend. That was needed because this was way extended at the time. And so you've already got the reset that was required. The MTTF's been reset. That means that that retest, regen, in other words, you come in here, buyers pounce on it as they should, drive it back higher. That's already taken place. If you come back again, it'll be the second test. Second test doesn't have nearly as good a probability of bounce as the first test. In fact, it's less than a 50-50 shot, and that means that you got a chance to try and break the next swing point low. Now, if it ever were to come back this deep, and boy, that would be a haircut. You can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be buyers down there, but that's a whole different story. What we're really talking about is what's this reaction going to be? You've already got a reset, you got sideways. That means that the next break could easily be up or down. The down right now is here. If it goes long enough, it would be there. Is it going to drive higher? If it does, then the SOXX, the XLK, they're going to drive higher as well. and that's going to take the whole market higher, or at least potentially take it higher. At the same time, you've got another situation outside of this that's important, and that has to do with the resets that are needed outside of the SOXX, outside of XLK. You've got the XLK, and I'm looking at the weekly here. You got the XLK here, and you can see the XLK has already reset. It's sideways. It's going to need to reset again, either up or down. October 7th is kind of a 70% number. It can certainly get to 80% pretty easy, but that's when it really starts to get extended. But look at what else you have. You have all these other things that need to reset beside that, and they're all bullish. You've got these, and you've got the XLB down here. All of them need to reset. If you add all those up, that's 50% of the S&P. 28%, 28.5% is in the XLK. Imagine if the XLK breaks higher and all of these finally reset lower, right? Because they're going to reset at some point. They're not going to go that far, that much farther. These are fairly extended already. These are getting extended, right? So when you think about it that way, as they start to break lower in order to get their resets, if the XLK is working up and the mega caps are working higher, then what happens to the general market? Yeah, it will come down some, but it's not going to come down like that, right? Now, if the XLK breaks the other way and these go with it, you can get an escalation to the downside. And so that is the importance of this report that's coming out with Nvidia. It's literally big enough to move the whole market, and we're going to have to see which way this thing wants to break. Will it be to the top side, or will it come down and break to the downside? And what's that reaction going to look like? Is it the death of the market? No. Can it set the market back? Yes. Which will it be? That's the question. If I look at Nvidia itself and the way it's set up, it can certainly go higher. It's done what it needs to do in order to go higher. Can it roll back over? It certainly can, right? There's nothing to keep it from rolling back over as well. What's the trend, right? The trends are all up. So which way should it go? Should go up. Will it? I don't know. That's the way you got to play it, though. And I'm looking at the daily to see if there's any tells there. I don't see any strong tells, but you can certainly see, one thing, and that is that in this area right here where you see resistance, this is the critical spot. And so I think Nvidia is probably going to just try to, hang around this area for a couple days, and then we'll see which way it wants to break. All right, that's Nvidia, that's the SOXX, that's the LK, that's the general market, and it all happens on Wednesday afternoon. Have a great one. Take care. Drop some comments. I'll see you later. Bye.